Welcome to the Spiritual Story Podcast, where we will dive deep into the ancient wisdom of sages all around the globe. Hello my friends, my dear listeners, Namaste. I was always a big fan of stories, but especially when I started practicing yoga and went deep into Eastern yoga philosophy, I discovered the value of all these stories, especially spiritual stories. This podcast is not just about yoga and Hindu and India, no. I will also dive deep into other stories, because all these stories from all these saints and sages and holy people, they have so much knowledge, so much wisdom and realizations, which can help us in our life to progress. Because people like to listen to stories. We all like to go in the theater. It's attractive because we can relate. We looking for our hero. We like to identify with the hero. For us, it's very important to hear stories. For example, the Mahabharata, 100,000 verses of a big dynasty war between two families with so much spiritual depth. Amazing. There's so many Puranas, so many books and texts about yogis who get self-realized, who could see God, who could connect to the divine energy, who got mystical powers, who could change the material energy really far out. There's so many stories. Socrates, Plato, Buddha. It's an unlimited reservoir of nectar. So I'm really excited to open the box of Pandora and share with you all these stories, because there's unlimited. If we hear one story a week, we can hear stories our whole life. And for me, it's so important because I love these stories. I tend to forget them, but if I tell them to someone, I can remember, and then I can taste, I can relish it myself. And if I'm honest, I'm also doing it for myself because I really want to go deep and understand these stories. There's so much nectar. I want to relish it. I want to taste it. And the best way to remember myself is if I share it with you, right? The idea behind this podcast, I will introduce a story with a certain theme, a topic, and then I try to analyze and understand and make the story relatable, that we can get the juice out of it. So I'm really excited about this project, about this podcast. I think it's a wonderful way to communicate. Even we can tell it to our children. We can share the stories with our friend. It's always good to have a nice story because you can really make a point. If you want to tell someone you're not the body and you have a nice story behind it who covers the whole topic, then you can really relate to it. Why we go to the cinema, why we go watching movies? Because we're looking for the hero who saves the day. So let's become the hero in our own life and let's explore together the world of all these stories around the globe. If you have any ideas how I can improve this podcast, please let me know. I really appreciate the time you take to watching these videos, and see you soon with our first story about the death of Socrates. Namaste.